Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm happy to bring to you a project that I made for a collaboration which is called the Back to Basics collaboration, hosted by Elisha Wagman, who is Alicia's Crafty Hoplop here on YouTube, and Elisha, who is Loveletter Generation on YouTube and on Instagram. So they invited me to do this collaboration, and basically we wanted to focus on projects that either we have forgotten or have not done it in quite some time, and maybe use elements that are very basic so that any crafter can make them. So the project that I thought of was a tag flip using project life cards. So I don't know about you guys, but I have lots of project life cards that I do not use for the purpose of documenting. So project life cards are cards like these that come in, I think, a 3x4 size, and they also come in this like 5x7 size. So these typically go into a sleeve in an album, and you just slip these cards in, and each of the cards usually have lines and an area where you can document. So I have lots of these cards that I don't typically pull from my stash and use for anything. So my project was to use these project life cards and create a tag flip with it. And what I really focused on was the elements I used to decorate the project life cards, to kind of give you guys inspiration as to how to decorate them and use more or less basic tools that you might have in your craft stash to create these projects. So I'll be right back and I'll have all my project life cards for this tag flip laid out. All right, so now I have all my tags laid out, and I wanted to go through each of them to kind of show you some basic elements that are in them. Hopefully I can point out some things that maybe you haven't done in a while or used in a while, and this may inspire you to add them to your projects. So the first one is, the focus here is the use of craft punches. So here I used a butterfly craft punch, and this is a Stampin' Up! Butterfly punch. So I've punched 2 layers of the butterfly and sewed them down the center so that I can give the wings dimension. And I've also included a flat back cabochon that is iridescent pink. And some things that I used to use a lot in projects but have used less lately is just like wrapping some thread in a circle and kind of giving it a messy thread look. And here I just layered a cardstock sticker at the very bottom. So yeah, adding these 3D elements to a tag is something that I hope is very accessible to you guys. Next, I have this card, which is a reminder to use fabric in your stash. So I have tulle and I have trim. This trim is really just like a remnant of something else I had gotten from a D-stash, and I didn't have very much. I think I only trimmed off a little bit, but here it's used as a border at the bottom of this card. I've added a cardstock sticker, or sorry, a chipboard sticker here. And here I've used some tulle in my stash. I made it into like a bow shape, wrapped it with some gold thread, and just hot glued it to this project. And this project card shows like this doe has a bow around its neck, so I thought having a tulle bow would be super pretty. So, and then here I just have a little cardstock sticker. Just wanted to point out that all of these cards are from the Chasing Dreams Project Life collection, and I'm coordinating them. All the elements on top that I've decorated with are from the Garden Party, Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection. Sorry, I should say that the Maggie Holmes Chasing Dreams collection Project Life cards. So yeah, they're both Maggie Holmes collections, and they really coordinate well together. So this one is a reminder to use rosettes in your collection. I have lots of this crepe streamer paper, and I hadn't made rosettes in a really long time, and I just made a bunch, and I thought that that would be a great layering element for this project. This glittery blue paper is cut out using a scalloped circle punch. I think this is a 2-inch punch, and basically the crepe paper rosette is at the very bottom. There's some snow tulle from Dollar Tree, and then it's this circle punched element here. and then a chipboard sticker from the Garden Party collection. And it's also a reminder that I haven't seen people do sequins clusters in a while, and I don't typically do that these days. So here I just use a hot glue gun and just smushed down some sequins and some polymer clay bits onto my project. So I've used it as an accent here and here on the project. Next is sewing. So I like to incorporate a lot of sewing into my projects. I try not to do it with this project here, mainly because I know not everyone has a sewing machine, but I tend to do a lot of hand sewing too. But in this particular case, I used gold thread to sew around the edge of this project card. And here is a cardstock sticker, which I've layered on foam. And I also wanted to show that sometimes elements that you may not, think to put together with a very floral collection, like most of the Maggie Holmes collections, is things like, this is like hot pink tulle that I've added here, or hot pink netting, and then I have this iridescent mylar here. And even though it seems like, it doesn't really go, I find that they add a nice little pop to my project. And here I just have a big resin gummy bear, which is kind of in the same color family of this collection. And another reminder is you can add lots of dangle elements to your project too. And here I just have a paper clip, which is holding this charm, which I dangled on a jump ring. And your recipient can definitely use this as like a bookmark, or they can use it on their projects too. Next, another way to add elements to your projects is just using a paper clip. You can gift things to your recipient. So here I've just used this mini pink paper clip, and I've added this little vellum envelope, which I have a cut apart that I've sewed. I also have this die cut button. You can also add trim. So this is just like a little piece of polka dot trim or polka dot tulle. This is just a die cut iridescent. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of layer things on to kind of give this a more interesting visual element to it. Other things you can do is adding pops of color. So this is just zigzag stitching using hot pink thread. And then another reminder to use rosettes in your stash. I had this teeny tiny rosette that I made a while ago with a sequin center. And this one says the sentiment, or the sentiment on this card is, the little things are often the biggest things. So thinking about the little things, I thought adding a little tiny rosette would be fun. So yeah, this card is really simple, but how to think a little bit more outside the box on how to decorate, because I felt like I was doing a lot of layering here, but adding something on with a paper clip is something that I don't do often, and it struck me that that is something I should do more of. This one is just very simple. It's a cardstock sticker propped up on foam tape, and just added some dimensional flowers to it. So it's very simple, there's no sentiment, but I still think it's quite pretty. And similarly, this card is a reminder to use diamond dots that you might have in your collection, or your nouveau drops. Like having dimensional elements like nouveau drops or diamond dots definitely makes your project pop a bit. This diamond dot that I used here is an iridescent yellow, so you can kind of see that visual interest there. And then this is a chipboard sticker, so is this, and for that flower I've propped that on foam tape too. And this is a cardstock sticker, which I've also propped up on foam tape. So again, very simple composition, but just a reminder that use up some of the things in your stash that you don't normally reach for. And the last tag in this tag flip is just, again, I think very simple. There's layering, but I've used a heart here, which I've punched out using a craft punch. This again is a button that is just a small die cut I created. This is a cut apart, so use your cut aparts that have sentiments. I've sewn this one, and this is just a cardstock sticker. Here is just a chipboard sticker with a pearl sticker on top. And I have a lot of these pearl stickers from Dollar Tree. I know we tend to hoard things that we can get inexpensively at Dollar Tree, but pull those things out of your stash and use them because they add a nice element to your project. So yeah, it's just a reminder, use your stickers. So those are all the tags, and other ways to add color to your project are with the things that you dangle off of your binder ring that holds your project together. So here I have some pink tulle, some iridescent eyelash thread, a pom-pom that I made using some yarn that is like this flex yarn, is I think the product line. It's like a minty color, but then there's pinks and yellows in it. And then here I have a pom-pom bead and kind of a crystal bead here. And then also tassels. I don't think I made this one, I think I purchased this one, but pull out your tassels and dangle that onto your project. And lastly, you can also add things like a bobbin to gift things like washi tape to your friends. And one thing that I did not incorporate here was a shaker, and I kind of wish I did that. But clear shakers are really great because you can add in coordinating elements, and then you can see through it to each of your tags. So that's actually a very fun thing as well. Another thing is size. When you make tags, these are what I call normal size tags, but you can also make mini tags, and I think mini tag flips are so much more fun. This one I made for Valentine's Day, and it's held together with a gourd pin, which you can get from Hobby Lobby. Here I've actually used a digital collection and I mostly hand cut everything, I think. So this one, this kind of rick-rack circle, I hand cut this and then added stitching elements. So my goal for this tag flip was I stitch every single element in it, but as you can see, I've hung things off of this like this XOXO sentiment. Some snow tulle works as well. A Pantone card, more of a tag shaped tag for the tag flip. Here, I had sized a bus to kind of match the size of the tags. And as you can see, most of these tags are various colors. So I've used red, I've used gold, pink, here's blue. And I mostly stitched around the border as well as some of the, along some of the lines within the tag itself. Here, there's a vintage telephone, and then I've sewn around the dial of the phone. Here I did a little kind of heartbeat zigzag stitching, more border stitching there. And this one, this is probably my favorite one. I actually created a shaker on this one. I just added acetate and then very carefully added in some heart sequins. This one I did layering. I had two, I think I printed two of the same thing, so I fussy cut out the llama and pasted it on top so that it was more dimensional. And then I also added some heart sprinkles and then sewed on some hot pink tulle. And then lastly, again, you can add more elements to your tag by adding a paper clip. So this one I just have a heart clipped onto that. I think I meant to add a dangle, but I think I never got around to it. And yeah, so mini tags are super fun as well. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Please visit the other crafters whom I will have tagged and linked below in my description box. Thank you to Elisha and Alisha for inviting me into this collab, and I hope you enjoyed my project today. So thank you again for visiting my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.